Hello there, good evening. Welcome to Thursday's Look North, our top story tonight. Calls for more protection for care home residents. We hear from a Halifax woman who was forced to move her mother at short notice after raising concerns.
Had no warning, no conversations, nothing about the fact that this was going to happen.
We'll hear from a charity calling for more rights for residents. Good to have your company this evening. Should there be more protection for residents in care homes? An 83-year-old woman was evicted this week from her home in Halifax. Yvonne Williamson has dementia and she's lived at Summerfield House Care Home for more than 5 years. Her daughter, Penny Hutchinson, is now fighting for a change in the law to protect other care home residents from similar evictions. Carla Fowler has been to meet them.
Here, don't go to sleep, Mum.
Penny Hutchinson visiting her mum Yvonne Williamson at Summerfield House Care Home in Halifax in September 2021. Yvonne has advanced stage dementia. She's non-verbal and requires full-time care and support. Up until last Monday, she'd lived at Summerfield House for more than 5 years. But in March this year, Penny was shocked to receive notice that she was being evicted.
Couldn't believe it. We have good relations with the care home, good relations with the care manager. There had been a number of issues that the home themselves have had to safeguard. So we're aware of that, but had no warning, no conversations, nothing about the fact that this was going to happen.
Penny challenged the decision. She appealed to the local authority for help but found no legal route to prevent eviction from a care home. So last Monday, 83-year-old Yvonne was forced to move to another home.
I'm convinced it's because of the number of safeguards that they themselves have had to raise for missed medication, dehydration, head bruising that they couldn't explain. And because we're there, it kind of brings it to light that the safeguard needs to be raised.
Love you. Hi.
And Yvonne's not the only one. Look North spoke to Gillian Latham, whose father Michael was threatened with eviction from Saxondale Care Home in Barnsley. In the end, he was allowed to stay, but Gillian felt their family were being punished for speaking out.
I believe because we did the interview with BBC and they felt threatened by us. Definitely revenge. Felt like we couldn't go anywhere. There were nowhere to go. We didn't want to get evicted. My dad evicted. He was 84. It's just not right. And you just feel so scared.
Both homes are run by the company Bondcare, who say it's rare for these circumstances to arise. A spokesperson for Bondcare said such decisions are never taken lightly and certainly never without cause. The relocation of a resident is a matter of last resort and formal steps have to be followed along the way. They said our care teams strive to run well-managed homes and deliver the best possible person-centred care. And yet, despite her family fighting for her, Yvonne was nonetheless evicted.
In any other tenant-type relationship, you cannot just evict somebody with no reason. And I think it's the unjustness. And the reason I will go on campaigning and fighting against unjust evictions is because not everybody has family like Mum's got. And there are people who do not have people to speak up for them. They do not have family. And it's very wrong that these big companies are taking advantage of that.
Let's talk a bit more about this, shall we? Helen Wildbohr is from Care Rights UK. It's an organisation which offers advice and support to people using care services and their relatives as well. I asked her how common evictions were.
We do hear on our helpline from people who are given eviction notices after either raising complaints or concerns themselves or incidents that have happened in the home. I would say every day on our helpline, we hear from somebody who is afraid to raise concerns and complaints because of fears of exactly that happening, reprisals, including evictions.
So what protection is there for residents if they do want to raise concerns about issues in the care home?
Even where we talk to people and explain to them, you know, the guidance and the law and the regulations is all on your side, people can still find themselves in this position. And that's because the power imbalance in care settings is so skewed, and people find themselves in such a vulnerable situation that they're too afraid to speak out about poor care, which is a really dangerous situation that we've created.
Care providers are also entitled, aren't they, to say if they can't give care to someone, it might be that the needs have changed and they're then unable to offer that care adequately.
Care providers absolutely need to be able to work with the resident and with families to make sure that that person is getting their needs met. But eviction should be an absolute last resort in that situation. And again, the guidance is really clear on this.
The government's brought in new rules to protect renters against eviction. Should the same count for care home residents, do you think?
Being given a kind of minimum of 28 days notice to find a new home, it's just not enough to make sure that you can find a new home that is going to meet your needs, that is nearby to your family and friends. And the Care Quality Commission, as the regulator, absolutely should be stepping in, investigating the extent of this problem, and working out where this is happening and supporting people who are facing these inappropriate evictions.
Helen Wildball, thank you for your time.
Thank you.